The Christ Letters, with enhanced narration and text. Letter 3.11. After my death on the cross. When I finally died on the cross, and my spirit withdrew from my tortured body, I was lifted into ineffable and radiant light. I was enclosed in the warmth and comfort of love, such as I had never experienced before. I had a sensation of enveloping praise, a powerful assurance of work well done, of ecstasy in universal strength to continue the work, and joy and rapture, which is far beyond any that the earthly condition can ever know. I moved into a new and wondrously beautiful way of life, but I still descended in consciousness to remain in touch with the people I had left behind. I was able to show myself to those who were sufficiently sensitive to be able to see me. However, the story of Thomas, who supposedly fingered my wounds, is nonsense. My disciples did not know that I had secretly arranged with Joseph of Arimathea to take my body to his own unused tomb after my death, where he would anoint it according to custom before the sun set. Then, when darkness had fallen and the Sabbath was being observed by everyone in Jerusalem, assisted by 2 mounted trustworthy servants, he would take my body secretly by during the night, and by out-of-sight tracks during the day, to a mountainside outside Nazareth in Galilee. There, further assisted by my family, if he followed my directions, he would find a small hidden cave, which had given me shelter from storms and a refuge from people when I was young, unhappy and rebellious, and at odds with the world. Joseph promised to find the cave from a map I had given him, and to leave me there after further embalming. He would build up the small entrance to thoroughly block it from intruders. There my body has rested, free from molestation. It has been said of me that my body rose from the dead. What an absurdity conjured up by earthly minds, which were at a loss to satisfactorily explain my death as a felon on a cross. What need would I have of an earthly body to continue existence in the next dimension? How could such a ridiculous myth persist even into the 21st century? It has been a measure of the lack of understanding of Christians that they have blindly accepted such a dogma to this very time. Footnote: In the light of Christ's spiritual truth, doctrines become meaningless and are swiftly jettisoned from the illuminated mind. End of footnote. Think about this carefully. Having been released from an earthly body, and after my experience of the ecstasy and glorious rapture of passing into a higher dimension of universal consciousness, why would I want to return to the earthly dimension to enter my body again? Of what use would it be to me in your world or in mine? Whilst the physical substance of my body might be spiritualized when perfectly attuned to the Father love consciousness whilst I still lived on earth, Would not my body be an encumbrance and a deterrent to my subsequent journeys within the highest spiritual kingdoms? Visible things are but a manifestation of specific frequencies of vibration in consciousness, which produces a shimmer of motes or particles, giving an appearance of solid matter. Each visible substance possesses its own unique vibrational frequency. A change in the rate of vibration produces a change in the appearance of matter. As consciousness energies change, so do the appearances of matter change. Therefore, it was possible for me to focus and lower my frequencies of consciousness to that point where my form became visible to the human eye. I could return to my disciples and be seen by them, and I did so. I loved them more than ever before and owed them as much comfort and support as I was able to give them after my death. Not only this, it was necessary to direct my own power into their minds in order to give them the impetus and courage to continue the work I had started. However, I want you to know that the individualized consciousness, which has ascended in vibrational frequencies to the very portals of the universal creative dimension, becomes light individualized, an individualized consciousness, which needs no body in which to express and enjoy all that the glorious consciousness can devise in the highest spiritual realms. It is a supreme and enraptured state of being, having none of the needs, desires, impulses experienced by those who have not fully mounted high beyond and above the ego. Whilst living on earth, your minds remain anchored within certain parameters of vibrational frequencies, imprisoned in bodies which have their own needs. If your consciousness were to truly soar beyond these parameters, your earthly self would disappear. When I was trapped in a body, I was also largely confined to these parameters of vibrational frequencies and consciousness. Furthermore, imagination alone can soar no further than your previous experiences, and therefore you are confined to your past, which you project into your future. However, little by little, you will be led by those minds which are sensitive enough to access the higher spiritual dimensions, and can thus move beyond your present consciousness boundaries. They will record for you these wondrous experiences and states of being beyond your own, to which you yourselves will then be able to aspire. In this way, you go forwards in levels or steps of spiritual development. Each step brings you a higher vision of what can be achieved, and out of this vision you formulate a new goal. With this goal ever before you, you work to cleanse yourself of the contaminating influence of the bonding rejection impulses of your earthly existence. Step by step, you transcend your ego. When you transcend your ego and it dies within your consciousness, you are now abundantly alive within the Father Love consciousness, and find the reality of the kingdom of heaven in your lives, within yourself, and in your environment. Footnote: in the light of Christ's spiritual truth, doctrines become meaningless and are swiftly jettisoned from the illuminated mind. End of footnote. To enable you to reach these pinnacles of love, joy, harmony, and rapture, I lived, worked, and died in Palestine, and I have come to you now in these letters. Let not my work be in vain this second time. As you read these pages, seek, meditate, and pray for inspiration. You will come to feel the Father's response, and if you listen every day attentively, you will hear the Father's voice. This voice is ever with you. Dismantle the barriers created by self-will. Open yourselves to receive strength, power, inspiration, and love direct from the Father Love Consciousness. Read and reread these letters that they may eventually become absorbed into your consciousness. As you do so, you will be journeying towards light, and you will radiate light to others. Such light is not just light as is electricity, but is the very nature of universal consciousness, which I described to you in my Letter 1. Therefore, as you radiate the light, you will radiate unconditional love. You will promote the growth and spiritual development of every other living entity. You will yearn to nourish and nurture. You will work to promote protection and healing and education. You will long to assist in the establishment of loving law and order, in which all will be able to live harmoniously, successfully, and prosperously. You will be in the kingdom of heaven. At the same time, let there be no illusions. As steps are taken to introduce these letters to the outside world, there will be exactly the same recriminations, the same condemnation, the same talk of Satan, the devil, as there was when I first taught in Palestine. Take heart, pray for courage. Those who endure to the end will rise above the turmoil and violence and will rest in the peace and joy of the kingdom. Footnote: in the light of Christ's spiritual truth, doctrines become meaningless and are swiftly jettisoned from the illuminated mind. End of footnote.